Another Fortnite season done, and another bad review. But don't click off the video just yet. If you've seen my other two, then you know how this works. I will talk about the map and stuff, then the loot, then the battle pass collabs, and overall opinion on the season at the end. So let's just get into the first segment, the map. I'm going to say it right now. The map currently is the best version of the Chapter 5 map, slightly over the pre-melted snow Season 1 map. There is an entire tumor on the bottom of the map, completely extended from last season's island. The sand dunes are wide open and good for Final Circle car fights, unlike other Final Circles where it's more normal fighting like you're used to. There are 2 POIs in the dunes area, and that is Brutal Beachhead and Red Light and Rig. Brutal Beachhead is where the main villain of the season, Morton Joe, Megalodon, lives. I mean, come on, look at the similarities, then the names. Morton Joe, Megalodon, whatever. This POI is cool, consisting of not only the giant Leviathan ship, but the surrounding construction and garages. I'll talk about the boss drops in the loot segment. For now, this POI is very well done, but it isn't that fun to traverse, and it's probably my least favorite of the 3, but it's still 7.5 out of 10. Red Lighting Rig, however, is amazing. 2 separate buildings that make a layered and interesting fighting ground as a nitro refinery, holding the Machinist, 8 out of 10 POI. But outside the sand dunes is the best part of the map, easily. Layered with slurp cacti and lush green life is the more rocky part of the map. You know this old river, right? Outside of fencing fields? Well, now it's been turned into a giant canyon. It's so fun to travel through, and it's right next to the Nitrodrome, the best POI on the entire map, in my opinion. If you watch my Season 1 video, you'll hear me say this.
It's impossible to fight people the whole damn time. Like, there's an entire country surrounding this POI. All these goddamn flowberry bushes make it impossible to fight people without wasting your bullets on the shrubbery.
Okay, enough of my voice. I hated fencing fields, basically, and it got replaced. Sure, it's not always a car fight every single time like it's intended, but you have to fight in the arena for a chance at the Mythic Medallion. It's just a fun atmosphere and plays copyrighted music. 9.5 out of 10. Something that this season did great was make the map feel special. Last season, outside of the Olympus and Underworld sections, the map was pointless. Now there are nitro hoops all around the map to make you feel immersed in the season's theme, and Megalodon and the Machinist can be in convoys around the map, with an easy way to get the war bus, but also makes these spots good landing areas if you want that loot. These spots are Pleasant Piazza, Rebel's Roost, Lavish Lair, Grand Glacier, Reckless Railways, Mount Olympus, and Sandy Steps. Oh, right, Sandy. The most Fallout-y POI, really like it, 8 out of 10. Grim Gate and Classy Courts are both suitable drop spots because of the shotguns, which I'll talk about later. Brawlers and the Underworld are really the only outcasts, but who really cares? They got enough playtime last season. Overall, an amazing map. Would be a 10, but there's no steam train, and they just crashed it. So even though the train was kind of pointless, it was still kind of fun, so it makes me sad. 9 out of 10 map. First off, the normal weapons. They vaulted the Nemesis AR for some reason for the Enforcer to come back, which was buffed, but I still don't find myself ever using it. The World Forged AR was still in for a bit, but then got vaulted when the combat came in. Thank God this did, or else the AR scene would be awful. But the Tactical AR is still pretty good, but better than last season, but not as good as the combat. There was also a glitch where the blue World Forged AR was in the game after the combat got added, but that got patched a few days later. The Frenzy Auto Shotgun finally got vaulted. But, wait, no. Fuck! Oscar's shotgun is in the game. Yay! Epic can't get enough of this goddamn shotgun. I guess it gives Classy a reason to be dropped too, but in this meta, it's bad, and you're bad for using it. Cerberus' shotgun should not be in the game for the same reason, but the Gatekeeper is still in, so it makes more sense. Hammer Pump is gonna stay all chapter, I hope, but the combat is actually pretty good, and the shotgun scene is good overall. No new SMGs. Harbinger feels out of place, but whatever. The Reaper got faulted, and it was about time, but got replaced halfway through the season with the heavy impact sniper rifle. The Season 1 Reaper is probably better, but this is still a good weapon. It does a lot of damage to cars. It's a counter to cars. Like I just basically just said. It does a lot of damage, and it feels good to use. Oh, and speaking of cars. As the season progressed, I found that there were less actual car fights, and there was enough counters for the fights to feel normal. Still super OP, especially at the start of the season, and the gimmick of the car thing kind of died down, which is kind of upsetting, but it also made the season a little more rounded. But now, I think people just hate on cars to hate on cars, even though they got nerfed into the f***ing ground. Some stuff that got a little too nerfed, like Nitro doing 90 build damage, but whatever. 300 was too much, but 90 I feel like is way too small. Boom bolts are very cool, really hard to hit shots for some reason, but the Mythic is great. Speaking of Mythics, Mythic combat is great. Mythic fists are too, and Scar's Mythic is pretty good, like I said. Infinite Nitro Medallion is so good. Infinite sprint and no fall damage. Faster reload and perfect with low gravity effect. Machinist Medallion is great, being the Season 1 medallions, but better. And Ringmaster Scars, holy shit. Buff damage, better than the Ares Medallion, and everything. It gives buff damage to every single weapon. Oh, and get this, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, but if you have the Infinite Ammo Medallion, it gives 5 extra damage to the Magneto power, which does 95, and with the Medallion does 100. That's just insane. But it also gives infinite ammo. I mean, by the end of the game, you definitely have enough ammo, but just with certain weapons, like the Mythic that comes with this medallion, it is absolutely insane. The Nitro Fists are still too OP, but they're still fun, and it is what it is. Build fights are more adapted to it, so it's not like a run into the box and smash somebody in the fucking face. Nuka-Cola is a good healing item, and the laser rifle is fine. Also, new Mythic, the Conductor Hand Cannon, is great. It, for some reason, its headshot is the same as a gold pump. They also added the Boogie Bomb for like a week, and okay, it was super annoying when they could have just added EMPs instead of removing them at the start of the season and then just adding them back way too late. Something I loved, though, is Magneto power. Great damage, and like I said, extra with the Infinite Ammo Medallion, and it's super fun to use, especially when you use it right. I have so many clips of me getting cool kills with this thing, and it's honestly really fun to pair with other weapons. And also Nitro. It's super good movement. Boss cars were too OP at the start of the season, but now they aren't really worth picking up because you can track your exact location literally around the map while using the boss car. Also, the Towhook Cannon has a cool gimmick, but I don't find myself using a whole slot just to have it to hang on to a car. Fun, but only good in certain situations. Same with remote explosives. Finally, Medmist was unvaulted, which is really good. Medmist is a good healing item. And my boy, the minigun, finally got added in the last 10 days of the season. Way too late. The Nitro minigun didn't make it, but the OG one did. And pairing that with the Infinite Ammo Medallion, that is literally all you need to win a game. You can spray and pray so goddamn hard with this thing. Why were bunkers not changed? Well, bunkers are fine, but mod benches, they stayed in bunkers, and that's the main mechanic of Chapter 5. That's the whole thing, and it's just been forgotten about and put to the side, and now I feel like if you get a bad scope on a weapon, you're just not going to pick it up. There's no reason for you to go to a mod bench when there's, like, off to the side, not part of the game anymore. Just put a mod bench in like every POI at some point. It's not hard. You already have a spending system with it. You can't just go ham. It's cost gold. Make it a little more gold. Put it in every POI. It's not that hard. It's not harmful. All these weapons you added since the start of the season aren't even moddable, just to add one to every POI so it's easier for the ones that are moddable. I don't know why I just went on a big rant. Anyways, the loot this season is actually pretty good. It's solid. 8 out of 10. Okay, before I start talking about, like, the controversy and stuff, the Battle Pass is probably the best this chapter. The Machinist is a great skin. Rust is just a promotion for the Metallica event, but not bad. Peabody is the meme skin, once again. A beautiful man's. Ringmaster Scar is really the only bad skin, but she is awful. Compared to every single skin this chapter, she is terrible. The only one that comes close to that terribleness is the second styled Aphrodite from last season, but the T60 power armor in all of its styles are wonderful. I played a bit of Fallout 4, but it's still the best skin in the past. Bright Raider is an amazing variant of Bright Bomber, and Megalodon is pretty cool. The super styles are great, especially the neon blue one, and the Magneto secret skin is the best secret skin in this chapter. Now for the big collab of the season, a recurring event. Unlike last season, it wasn't shit, but it wasn't amazing. The Cursed Sales Pass was pretty good, and I bought it for once, getting both Jack Sparrows. The Flint Knock was unvaulted, and treasure maps were too. Except, yep, they're pretty mediocre. The ship in a bottle is very hard to time, and I can't get behind it. It's just not that good. It's cool. It can wreck an entire POI, but it's not worth carrying around. Neither was the Flint Knock. So the treasure maps were pretty much useless. Epic did add a new POI for this event with the Black Pearl, and there was a bunch of map changes leading up to this new POI, which is really cool, which is something we haven't seen yet in this chapter, which was something people were asking for. Thank you. It's pretty cool. Cannons are fun, but they only exist here and another ship on the edge of the map. This collab event was cool, better than last season because it didn't absolutely ruin the season. But again, the TMNT event was definitely better. I don't think anything's going to beat it. The Metallica event was actually really good. I do wish it was longer, but the updated Loot Island, Memorial for Cliff Burton, and especially the Ride the Lightning Mythic was great. Really fun stuff. The summer event was the absolute worst ever. Last year, we got some ice cream and some graffiti. This year, we got quests. That's it. We did get the summer road trip for a free Cybertruck, but just like real life, this car is fucking awful. For a few days, using this car would permanently disable all Nitro Fists, and the 2 back seats are out in the open and made getting shot so easy. Also, there are back seats in the car. There's literally back seats in the actual real life car. I've been in one before, but like in the actual car design in the game, there's visible back seats, yet you have to be in the trunk, which is literally just a lose-lose situation. It's so goddamn awful. Why did they add it? People were clowning on it when it was announced. People literally piss on this car in real life. And the Fall Guys collab, which was really weird, but as a person who used to play Fall Guys, this made me want to check out the game again. So I might have an updated video about my thoughts on Fall Guys eventually. But the course gives good loot and makes you want to drop near classy quartz because Oscar's shotgun is fucking awful now. Okay, now I will talk about the controversial stuff. I realized this season was controversial, like really controversial, and I don't have anything to say that hasn't already been said. This season, for me, was very fun, and eventually, it kind of calmed down, going against what the season wanted, but honestly, I had a really fun time the entire time. People are overreacting. They were overreacting, they still are, but some of them are justified for the opinions. I've gotten crazy mad at this game, but it's less run into the box and Nitro Fist your opponent as the season went on. Yes, everything was nerfed to the ground a lot. It was really, really weird throughout the season. Epic didn't know what to do. They were trying to be ambitious, but then everyone hated that. And then they tried to dial it down. Everyone hated that too. It's not their fault. They tried. And then everybody just got mad. I'm obviously a casual player, but I see a lot of people adjusting and using these items in normal Fortnite fights. I did very much enjoy the season, like I said, but I understand why people hate it. I'm slightly worried about Season 4 because it's trying to be the cool, hip new thing, even though they already did this like 4 years ago, and it's so annoying that they're bringing it back, just like Disney does, because Disney now owns 10% of Epic Games, so they're gonna slap the udder and milk it till it fucking dies. We are entering the final season of Chapter 5, with an honest-to-God live event that may or may not have happened by the time this video comes out, but let's just hope, even if nothing will top Season 1, probably for me, that Season 4 is a good end. Even if myself personally doesn't have high hopes, overall, this season is good. And this might be the last good thing we have for Chapter 5. I feel like it's an 8 out of 10 for me. I know a lot of people disagree, but what do you think?